Testing. Hey everyone, we're just going to give another minute just for some people to still join in, so still waiting. So thank you for your patience. Okay, so let's get started. Hi everyone, thank you for joining us today. My name is Khaled Fouly, and I'm the manager of Paid Search and lead CRO expert here at Spark. I really appreciate everyone for taking the time out of their day to join us and learn more about improving your lead generation efforts. So before we start, I want to briefly tell you about Spark and who we are. Okay, Spark is a collection of over 25 talented people who love digital marketing. We help companies build their brands, increase their exposure, and most importantly, increase their leads. So if you're curious if the presentation deck is going to be available, it will be available to you after the webinar. If we don't get to everyone's questions today, please do still submit your questions and we will definitely follow up. So let's get started. So what's a landing page? So a landing page is a standalone page created to fulfill a single purpose. So that goal can usually be a sign up, a transaction, a download, etc. So before you sit down to create your landing page, it is important that you define your goal and what you want your page to fulfill. So if the goal is to drive more downloads, then your page needs to be tailored around that specific goal. So where do we start? Ollie Gardner, co-founder of Unbounce, coined a great term. and that's never start a marketing campaign without a dedicated landing page. So some of you might ask and say, what does this mean? So basically what all he's trying to say is that if you're going to create a marketing campaign to increase your sales, your signups, your downloads, whatever it is that you want, you need to make sure that the business objective is identified and that you're tailoring your page around that specific objective/goal. So a few common channels for driving traffic to your pages can come in the form of PPC ads, Facebook ads, email links, banner ads, etc. These are just a few channels that you could utilize to drive traffic to your landing page. The key thing is not to lose money driving traffic to pages that don't convert. So none of us want to spend money exactly if we're not going to get anything out of those pages, right? And especially if you're going to increase, if you're increasing your conversion rates and your relevancy, it's going to have an overall impact on all of your key performance indicators and the amount of money you spend. So Conversion Expert People recommends a 4-pronged strategy for defining your goals and your success metrics. So let's start with number 1. So as you can see, number 1 here in the diagram, it says define your business objectives. So again, those objectives can be, to drive more sales, to drive more leads, whatever it may be. So as you can see in this example, it says increase our sales by receiving online orders for our bouquets. So that's a great business objective. So now how do we tailor that to go with the landing page? So now we need to define what our landing page goals are going to be, which takes me to the next step. So those landing page goals that you may have currently, it could be, to add better product images, to increase your click-through rates, to, like I said, increase your lead count, whatever be, reduce, your shopping cart abandonment rate, whatever those landing page goals are, it needs to tie in with your business objective, okay? After we do that, we go into the next step, and now we want to define our key performance indicators. What are those KPIs, and what do we want to measure? So in here, for this example in particular, it's the number of bouquets sold online. Okay, and then we move on to the next step, which is defining your target metrics. So for instance, in this example, it says they sold 57 bouquets last month. So our monthly target that we want to hit is 175 bouquets sold. So all of these steps go hand in hand together. So if you miss one, I'm not saying that you're not going to achieve, your success, but having all 4 of these combined is going to give you definitely a better opportunity of measuring and having a successful, solid campaign. So let's talk now about what makes a great landing page and what are the different elements that that are involved into making a great landing page. So as you can see here, we have a kind of a wireframe setup, and I'm just going to go speak about the little different things that you might want to include in your landing page, to have a successful marketing campaign. So the top section here, we have where you put your headlines and your supporting headlines. So the main thing is that you need to have your unique selling proposition, and the keyword is unique. So you want to make sure that whatever that selling proposition is, that it is unique and that it is going to differentiate from all of your competitors. So you want to start out with a strong headline. So whatever your main headline will be, and make sure that it's definitely captive, okay? Then you want to also have a supporting headline that's going to support what the main headline is and just kind of tie in, the entire purpose of your landing page. And then sometimes you can also have a reinforcement statement, which is in the middle of the page, and as well followed by a closing argument to make sure and give people that last nudge to sign up, to download, whatever it may be, okay? Then what you want to have is you want to have also your hero shot. So It could be an image, a video, whatever it may be, as long as it's showing the context of use. And that hero shot or video has to be, it can be, for instance, a video about your product, about how it works, whatever it may be, as long as it's tying in with your landing page, you're doing a great job, and it's going to help expose your product or service a little bit better. So the next thing as well is now you want to talk about the benefits of your product or service. So usually the best way to go about this for a landing page is that you want to go in usually a bullet point list summary of your benefits. So as long as they're in, short, concise, very simple, and people can understand exactly what the benefits of your product are or service are right away, it's going to give them a better idea of what's happening on this landing page. And you also want to give, your benefits, and features in detail. Speak a little bit in detail about what those benefits or features may be. And then after that, you want to have your single conversion goal. So the whole purpose of this page, like I said before, is to have one specific goal. And that goal for this particular landing page, for instance, is getting, a free ebook. So your call to action, with or without the form, has to be there, and it has to also tie into what you're doing on your landing page along with your purpose and your goal. And another thing that you can always add to help your landing page even a little bit further is you can add proof, right? So you can add either social proof, you can add trust indicators, you can add, high profile badges, partner badges, whatever it may be, as long as it ties in with your page and it's able to give that extra little push on your landing page of what's going on, it's going to help, customers, or it's going to help visitors sign up a little bit easier, download, or whatever it may be. All right. So aside from this now, we also have to also look at, what makes a great form, which brings me to my next slide, which is, what's the anatomy of a high converting lead generation form. Okay. So let's get started. So as you can see here, we have, a simple form. So the first thing that you want to have in your form is you want to have, same thing like a landing page, you want to have a great headline, okay? So the headline has to be an introduction of what you're offering. So what will be the visitor, what will he be getting, he or she, what will they be getting if they complete your form, right? So in this particular example, it says the top 10 ways to improve your lead generation efforts, which is awesome. And then followed by that, you want to have your subhead, which is the why part, and why should I care about your offer. So this can also be used to add a clarifying description to what you've just already said in your headline. And again, the same thing, just like the landing page, you want to also have your benefit bullets. So this extends the why in an easy to read format, and it allows the reader, allows the visitor to get a little bit more information about why they're going to be filling out this form and what's in it for them, kind of thing. All right. And then, of course, you're going to have your form. So with the form, you only really want to collect the information that's going to align with your offering, right? So if you're only, for instance, giving away an ebook for free, you don't need to have their name, their business email address, their phone number, their company name, and a whole bunch of fields that don't really need to be filled out, because the exchange, it doesn't align, right? People don't want to be giving you all of that information just to download an ebook. So always align what you're going to be having in your form with your offering, all right? And then after that, you want to, of course, have your call to action. So it's, what will I be getting when I click this button? So that CTA can also be used to reinforce what they will be getting. So in this particular example, we were talking about, the top 10 ways of improving your lead generation efforts. And in the button, we tie into that with get my free lead generation guide. So the reader now, or the visitor, when they see this, it makes sense to them, and it's going to be able to allow them to make their decision a little bit quicker, right? And what you can always do as well is you can add a closer. And that closer is just pretty much just a last minute nudge to encourage a click. And so just like a landing page, it can be social proof, it can be an urgency statement, it could be a trust statement or important details, like free or no credit required. These things are all going to help visitors, when they look at your landing page, allow them to make a better decision on completing your form and, of course, increasing your leads. So aside from this, I also have a bonus for you guys. So let's talk about how you can take your landing pages to another level. Okay. So when you think about this, you ask, what do you mean? What do you mean by taking it to another level? So pretty much, I would say, 60 to 70% of marketers, when they create landing pages, they create just, your regular standing landing page with sometimes a confirmation page. But what some marketers tend to forget sometimes is that, a thank you page is also a great opportunity to take advantage of doing things and extending your brand just a little bit further. So let's take a little bit of a look into that. So your thank you or your post confirmation page, it is a critical page that can yield a ton of opportunity for you. So I'm just going to give you some examples of some ways that you can utilize these opportunities to further extend your brand. So the first one here, it's a subtle follow-up marketing opportunity. So, and what that means pretty much is just keeping people engaged if they follow or share on social media. So, if you go into your thank you page, you can always add some social media buttons and allow people to, to get more fans, get more likes, whatever it may be, and it's keeping them within the sphere of what's going on in your landing page. Okay? And then what you could also do is you can offer info, advice, that would have crowded your landing page. Because our landing page is only focused on one goal and one objective, we don't want to crowd the landing page with a ton of messaging. So this is also a great opportunity on your thank you page to extend your messaging, your branding, since your landing page is focused on one goal. And then you can also, what you can also do is you can also exceed expectations. So great thing is standing out, right? So you can offer some sort of thank you gift or a content download or another ebook that's going to help them, with something else in marketing or whatever it may be, whatever that ties in with your business, right? And then the last one is offer a guided experience. So what that means is it's just letting people know what to do next, right? So you can influence your visitors by offering another suggestion on what to do next. And that, of course, can be determined by yourself. So you always want to make sure that you are taking advantage of your thank you or your post confirmation page because, like I said, it can yield a ton of opportunity for you. And it can also, do things for you that you might have not been able to do on the landing page. Like another great example is you can also add, for instance, getting people to subscribe to your mailing list. That's another thing that you could add on your thank you page that can also help tie in with your marketing goals. So now let's look at some landing pages and see what they ace and some of the things that they can change or test. So let's go ahead and look into that. So what we have here is we have a landing page from that you can see from Right Signature. So let's take a look at what they aced. So as you can see there on the right, the form is nicely encapsulated. So it's positioned in a great way, and it's designed for clarity, and it is using the rule of encapsulation, and as you can see there. All right. And then also on top of that, the information is very clear and it's straight to the point. So it says it right there: the easiest, fastest way to get documents signed, trusted by small businesses and the world's largest companies. So, that pretty much says it all. If you don't know what this page does, then that's on you. But they do a great job of providing that info, and I really like how they describe it. And I also really like how how they describe what's going to happen next after the CK is clicked, right? So it helps the visitor feel at ease, and the addition of some free usage is a good incentive to sign up. So another great thing I like about this page is a headline that describes exactly what the product is offering. So as you can see there, it's the easiest, fastest way to get documents signed. So straight to the point, and it describes exactly what the product does and what's going to happen when you do sign up for this particular product. So it's so clear and to the point that you really can't fail to understand what the service does instantly. And then at the bottom there, if you see where it says send, sign, archive. So that's another great demonstration of simplicity, and it shows a 3-step format that makes it really quick to understand how the service is going to be used. And then at the bottom there, you also have some great high-profile testimonials. So you can see there's TechCrunch, there's ReadWriteWeb, GP Solo. So these are huge brands, and definitely having high-profile testimonials on your landing page is going to help. So these trust indicators can come from these testimonials which describe the benefits, but at the same time, it's showing off the exposure the service has already received. So the things that that you can change or test on this page is what I would do personally is I would remove the phone number and email in the footer to reduce friction on the page. So as you can see there on the bottom left, they do have a phone number that you can get in contact with them. But because our landing pages are focused on one goal and one specific objective, sometimes that may cause friction and it may allow people to just call in rather than filling out the form, which what the purpose of this of this whole landing page is all about. But other than that, I wouldn't really change much else. So let's take a look into the next example. So here is another example from GiveYGive. So as you can see here, this photo that you're looking at, it does evoke a lot of emotion, and it does tug at the heartstrings a little bit. So especially because the dog is staring right at you directly in the eye, and it's trying to make a connection with you to keep you on the page. Another great thing that they did, as well as we've seen in the previous example with Right Signature, is they give you a guided process, guided format of how it works when you do sign up, right? So it says there, select an experience, you send it to your friend, and your donation to NKLA at no extra cost. So great guided process. It shows exactly what's going to happen when you submit. So the things that I think you can change or test on this page. So the first thing we can talk about is what's the purpose of this form. So we only see there a name and an email. So there's no heading to the form area to describe the purpose. The description of the purpose on the page is actually right at the bottom of the page. So as you can see there, it says sign up now and you'll be entered to win, $100 in GiveYBucks. So that's definitely something that I would want to put on top of the form. And then on top of that, you want to connect it to the form so people know what they're going to be getting when they enter, right? So if that's tied in and encapsulated with the form, it's going to help visitors see, okay, so if I fill out this form, I'm going to be able to get $100 in GiveYBucks. So again, it's a great thing. And as you see there at the bottom, it also says donating with no out-of-pocket cost. So that's also something that you can put underneath the submit button as kind of just like a trust statement that could help as well. So another thing to look at is their call to action. So as you can see there, it's very powerless. It's your standard submit button, which you see on a lot of pages. But this call to action is not really helping the page at all by simply just saying submit. So you can there's a lot of ways you can change this, and there's a lot of things that you can do to this call to action button to make it a little bit more presentable and make people see what they're going to be getting. So for instance, it says sign up now and you'll be entered to win $100 in GiveYBucks. You can put in the call to action now. In the call to action, you can put something like, I want my 100 Givey bucks now, or give me my 100 Givey bucks, whatever it may be. There's, the possibilities are endless, right? On top of that as well, there's no privacy policy. So if you're going to be collecting emails, you're going to be collecting names, same like a lot of things like that, you always need to have a privacy policy and a no spam statement that you're not going to be spamming the people who are going to be filling out those forms, right? You can just ideally just stick that privacy policy link beside the email form field so people know exactly what they're getting into and what's going to happen when they give you their information. Okay, and then now let's take a look at the subheader. So the subheader, it makes you feel good, but it doesn't explain the brand's purpose, which is not obvious from the brand's name, right? Because it's called Givey Give, and it says now dinner with friends makes a difference. That the header, which is the subheader, which is right underneath, it says NKLA is a coalition of animal welfare organizations, city shelters, and passionate individuals led by Best Friends Animal Society who are dedicated to ending the killing of healthy and treatable pets in LA shelters. So, I can see what they're trying to do with the subheader, and they're trying to put a little bit of emotion into it. But again, it makes you feel good, but again, it doesn't explain the brand's purpose and what the purpose of this landing page is. On top of that, the description is super small. So the description of the service is quite small, where you see where that gray strip is. So I'd like to make that a little bit more prominent, so people are able to get the concept right off the bat. So as soon as they see it, it's right there in big letters. They can see exactly what this landing page is trying to tell you, and it's just going to help just the overall look of the landing page. So let's take a look at another example. So looking at this example, let's take a look at what they aced on this particular example. So as you can see here, they have a professional hero shot. So on the right side, they've designed, a nice looking professional picture that, it's the cover of the book, and it says the top testing, targeting, and optimization best practices. So that's a great look. It really makes the page look a lot more professional, and just adds a little bit of flair to it, which I really like. Okay, and now the headline. So as you can see, the headline: 10 best practices for website testing, targeting, and optimization. So it's very clear, and it's straight to the point headline. So it's telling you exactly what you're going to be getting when you fill out your information and what the book is all about. And right at the bottom, it even has a nice supporting subheader which says, featuring 10 techniques used by leading brands to lift website conversions and average order value. So the subheader and the main headline, they tie in very well together. It's very clear and lets you know exactly what's going to happen. And then on the bottom there, where it says you'll learn, you'll see a bullet breakdown of why you would want this ebook, right? So remember how I said that you want to give, your bullet points as keep them short, but as well keep them detailed. And they've done a great job on this page of giving you, 5 bullet points of what they think the benefits of this book are and why you would want to download it. And then exactly what I was saying before, which is strong subheader, which describes exactly why this ebook is going to be useful for you. So other than that, the things that you can change or test on this page is on the bottom left there, you see your social sharing icons. So as I said before, it's always best to keep your page to one single goal and keep the ratio of your page 1-to-1. So what that means exactly is that you want to reduce the friction. The more links, the more things that you have on your page that it gives people a chance to click on, the more distractions you're giving them. It's just going to cause more friction, and it's also going to hurt your conversion rate. So keep your ratio always 1-to-1. So for this particular example, I would move these social sharing buttons on the thank you page to keep people in the sphere, keep people engaged, and it doesn't take away from what your landing page's goal is going to be. Another great thing that you can do is you can give a preview of the ebook before submission. So you can give, a small excerpt from the ebook that you might think people might want to read, which gives a preview into the book and what the book is all about. That's another great example. Another thing that I would personally change as well for this particular landing page is reducing the form to only 2 fields, being your name and your email. So I understand for this particular ebook, they want the company name and they want your work email and those sorts of things, which is great. But I don't think you need to know your company if I'm downloading an ebook. But just a name and an email, I think, is a fair exchange for this book, and just provides just a much easier solution to get this book right away, right? And then another thing that I like about it is the call to action button. It says access now. So as soon as you get it, as soon as you put in your information, you click the button, you're going to be able to download that book right away. So you're able to access it immediately, which is great to see. So aside from all of these landing pages, you've seen some great landing page examples here, things that you can definitely take back home with you and see what you can do for your particular landing pages, and then how you can change them or optimize them to better convert. So that just about wraps up the presentation for today. So I hope that everyone was able to soak it all up. If not, the presentation will be available for download. So you can always get in touch with us if you want to know any more information. My email is right there at the bottom. If you ever have any questions, you can email me, and I'll be more than happy to get back to you on anything you like. So please do send any of your questions if we're not able to get them through. If we're not able to get through them all today. And what you can also do is you can also always get in touch with us here directly at Spark. If you have any questions regarding landing pages, improving your conversion rates, etc., we are always here to help, and we're always looking to talk to anyone that's interested in these types of things. Okay, so if anyone has any questions, you can post the questions in the pane, and I'll be more than happy to answer them for you. So let's get to the questions. If anyone has any questions, you can just type it in right in the chat box, and I'll be more than happy to answer them for you, or you can call in. So the link to the presentation will be available. It will actually be emailed to everyone tomorrow, I believe, with the link of where you can download the presentation. So not to worry about that. It will be available after this webinar. So thank you for that question, Daniel. Does anyone else have any questions regarding the presentation? So Paige here has a great question, which says, how long should I continue to test my landing pages for? So when it comes to landing pages and testing, the great common saying is always be testing. And so there's never really a length of time you want to test or not test. You should actually always be testing your landing pages if you want to always improve your conversion rates. But typically, you want to test your landing pages after they're getting conversions. So if you're getting only, let's say, 3 or 4 conversions a month, it's going to be pretty hard to do any tests. But aside from that, what you can also do is you can always do them in intervals. And how I like to do them is you want to first develop a hypothesis around what you want to test. So for instance, let's say the hypothesis for one of the landing pages is if I change, my call to action and the color of my button to stand out a bit more, will it make people click on it more? So that's the hypothesis. So now you want to test this. So what I would do is I would put this question up into a spreadsheet and then put in a testing timeline. So that timeline, let's say, is 30 days. And then you test your control, you test your variation, and then you let the test run for 30 days. If you have your winner after 30 days, you take that one, and then you begin another test. You come up with another hypothesis and begin another test. So I really hope that answers your question, Paige. Does anyone else have any questions? Just type them in and then let me know. I'll be more than happy to answer them. So I'll just give it about another minute or two. If anyone else has any questions, please do type them in. If not, you do have my email address. You can always email me as well, and I'll be more than happy to get back to you. So because I can't see names, I hope to answer this question for you here. So it says, so viewer 2 asks, what are your thoughts on having a picture on the landing page if you're a small business and the only owner / face of the business? So let me see if I understand. Picture of yourself. Oh, okay. So what are your thoughts on having a picture of yourself on the landing page? Okay, so great question if you're a small business. That's a great question. So again, this is always an opportunity to test, right? Even though you're the owner of your company and you want to have a picture of yourself on a landing page, it's not a bad idea. It's not a good idea. So either or, it doesn't really matter whether you want to have a picture of yourself or not on your landing page. But a good thing to do is to put that picture of yourself on your landing page and then test it, right? So you can test your hero shot. So for instance, once you put up your picture of your page, let's say the hypothesis of, this particular hero shot is going to be, if I put a picture of myself, will I increase my conversion rates? So that's a good hypothesis. So for this particular example, you can test that, for 2 weeks, 30 days, and see how your conversion rates are. If your conversion rates decline from what they were the month before, then maybe that having a picture of yourself might not work. But then again, if your conversions increase, then hey, maybe I'm a great looking guy, people love my face, and it's increasing my conversion rates, right? So that's also a good way of going about things. Another thing that you can do, another test that you can do for a hero shot is, male or female, right? So if I have a female, if I have a picture of a female on my page, will that help my conversion rate, or versus a male photo? This is another test that you can do, right? You can test one for 30 days and see what happens. If the female hero shot is increasing your conversion rate, then obviously it works well, and that's when you can look into looking at another element of your landing page that you may want to test. But great question. Thank you for that. Okay, and no, not a problem, not a problem, no worries. And anyone else have any other questions? So I just want to keep everyone in mind that we do have I do have another 20 minutes. So whatever questions you have, shoot away. Send me as many questions as you have, and I can get to them all right now. Don't be shy. No question is a bad question. So another question I see here is, could you please share some best practices on A/B testing? So because this webinar is not particularly about testing, I can still give you some ideas on some best practices for A/B testing. So a best practice is what I was mentioning earlier, where you want to make sure that the elements that you're testing on your page have a hypothesis behind them, right? So if if your goal of your page is to increase your downloads, and you want to test different elements on your page to make sure that your downloads keep increasing, a good practice is, like I said, to develop a spreadsheet of all the hypotheses, all the things, all the elements that you want to test on your page, right? And while you develop that, always make sure that you have a certain time limit of when you want the landing page to run, when you want the test to run, and when you want it to end. And when it ends, and if you have your winner or your loser, you want to make sure you're taking your winner, and then that you're able to test upon that again for another 30 days. So I would say, some best practices is to have always a spreadsheet to keep track of what you're testing on your page, so you're not forgetting what you've already tested. Always have a timeline of how long you want to test it for. And then once you have your timeline, once you have your winners, or once you have your winner of your test, always make sure that you just don't stop there and that you keep testing beyond that with other hypotheses that you have or other elements that you may want to change on your page. Does that answer your question? No worries, not a problem at all. So another question that I have here is says, so what are the different elements that you can test on your page? So for A/B testing, especially, there's a variety of things that you can test on your page. You can test the color of your landing pages, the colors of your buttons. You can test headlines, your call to actions, your bullet points, page, placements of your form, whether it's on the left side or side, the bottom. You can always test as well Is having fields, is 2 fields better, or is 2 fields versus 5 better? So there's a variety of things that you can always test. But the main thing is that when you're testing is that you want to always have a hypothesis, right? So whatever you're looking to test on the page, and then you want to have one variable. So for example, if you test a subject line on an email or other variables, they must be the same. If anything else is going to be different between the two versions, your results won't be conclusive because you won't be able to attribute the success of one version to a specific variable. So A/B testing doesn't just mean that you only have 2 players. It just means that you have one variable, right? So, and you always want to be tracking your success metrics, the volume and your statistical significance. You want to do, there's test groups as well that you can do. Another good best practice. You can do split tests, where you can decide to do a split test, on a control and a test group, which is, 50%, 50%, or apply an uneven, split. So there's a lot of things that you can do as well, that you can test, and a lot of different things that you can always look into. But documentation is definitely a very key thing when doing A/B testing. So is there anyone else have any other questions? Okay, so I'm gonna guess nobody has any more questions. So I definitely appreciate the time for everyone coming in and taking a look at the presentation. So I do thank you for that. And again, if you ever do have any other questions, you can always email me or call us here at Spark. I'll be more than happy to help you. Until next time, thank you very much, and we'll see you again soon. Bye now.